Greetings, everyone. We're doing another going in on Equestria Daily's community soapbox posts that they make. We're doing this because my other co-hosts that I would normally be doing this with are still on their holiday vacation. So this will be the last stream of the new year, obviously. And we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Hopefully we've got some interesting topics to tackle here. I have the community soapbox page pulled up, and I see a couple of interesting ones already. Some of them might be headcanons, though. But we'll see what we can do here. Now here's what you do if I say something interesting, you want to comment on it, you want to hop on the show and add your 2 cents, you're welcome to do so. In the description, you'll find a link to a Discord server. That is the Brony Debates call-in server. You can join. It's just click to join. And then once you're there, give me your comment. So tell me what you'd like to talk about. And send a raise hand emoji. And if I like what you want to talk about, if I think it's interesting, then I'll give you the permission to join the call with me and we can talk about it. I'm certainly looking forward to hearing what you have to say, if anything at all. Now then, with that said, we're very grateful to everybody who supports the channel, especially those on the $10 and up tier. This is this big long list. Princess Heather Blossom, Shady Oak, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rein-Kun, QFlash, Billy Henline, Alden MacManx, EasyModeGamer, Kanto, Mr. Sonic 31, Alicia Lynette, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willieson, Icanis Gorilla, Vulpecula, Enfield is what that is. I pronounced it wrong. The Raptors Talon and Dark Malcontent, executive producer of Titan Art Studios. Be sure to check out all of their content links in the description, as well as how you can support this channel as well and what you get in return. Now then, let's jump into it here. We've got community soapbox number 5. Oh, this is the oldest of them. Let's see here. So do we, let me see if we can, let's see here. Luna, G5 world building. Oh, we actually tackled that last time. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's see here. Section now open, post begin. Okay, here's number 1. Formerly letters to the editor. What do we've got? Mares in the Equestrian Royal Guard. Apple Bloom ascends to an alicorn. Every little thing she does made me a Starlight Glimmer fan. It's a cartoon, it's not meant to be taken that seriously. Why Sunset outshines Starlight. I think we've got some interesting ones there. By the way, I am looking at the chat. Hello, Rusty. Hello, Raven. Hello, Nathan. Let's have a little bit of fun. Okay, so Mares in the Equestrian Royal Guard. Couldn't Equestria Daily cover the subject of female members of the Earth Pony, Unicorn, and Pegasus EUP Guard of the Protective Pony Platoons? I know that the Equestrian Royal Guard is predominantly male in composition. Well, welcome to the military. And most technical traits for that matter. Let's see here. Prince Blueblood is personally guarded by female ponies who are technically EUP guards, but in practice are his personal companions. Is that true? I know we had a comic surrounding Prince Blueblood, but I'm actually not sure. I don't remember. I think that was Friends Forever. Let me go check my hard drive real quick. But while I do that, let me see what else we have to say here. Twilight Sparkle is an aunt who still serves as a royal guard. What? Has an aunt that still serves as a royal guard. Okay. I misread that. And her younger sister, Twilight Sparkle's mother, Twilight Velvet, and Twilight Sparkle's father, Nightlight, serve together in the same EUP unit. Rainbow Dash has an older brother, Alexander Dash, who serves in the Royal Guard. Where are the sources on this? Dead serious. What is this? Like, Rainbow Dash is 100% an only child. Moon Dancer decided to join the Royal Guards sometime after the Season 5 episode of Mending Fences. I have zero recollection on any of this. If anybody knows the source on these things. So let's see here. Comics, Friends Forever. Paladin Pony T says, does anybody want some soup? What kind of soup are we talking about here? All right, right now, off screen, I'm loading up my folder where I have the Friends Forever comics shared. I'm pretty sure it was Friends Forever, and one of them was like Shining Armor and Prince Blue Blood. And they're big files, so I'm loading them up. Yes, Friends Forever number 26. Let's take a look. I'm going to need to make a new scene on OBS really quick here. I'm also going to need to tone down the zoom so we can actually see what's going on here. Pardon me for just a second while I do this. This would be a... It's not a browser, not a display, not an image. Image slideshow, media source, maybe? Window capture. We'll do a window capture. And there we go. All right, so let's take a look at this. Now, if we're gonna scroll this comic super fast, and if we see Blue Blood being flanked by female guards, there he is on the throne like the blasphemer he is. Let me see. Stallion, 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 stallion. Spoiler alerts for those who have not read the comics. This was a good Friends Forever, though. I found it gave a lot of really good characterization to Blue Blood that we especially didn't get in the one episode that he was in, really. Stallion, 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 stallion. I'm assuming those are the same characters. And then we go hit up the Yaks. Talking to the Yaks. Rutherford is being Rutherford. As in having practically zero redeeming qualities. And yeah, that's it for the comic. I'm going to say that's not it, gentlemen. I have no idea where this person, James, is coming from with this. Now then, let's move on. Well, we'll see what the chat has to say. What was the Noir Parody episode? There was a few members of the guard who had coat colors other than the usual white. Yes, and we have seen... Now, this post predates that episode, but we have seen... mares in the Royal Guard as well. Let's see, the Noir Parody episode, that was with Rainbow Dash and Rarity, and I swear to God I'm getting Alzheimer's because I do not remember episode titles anymore. And I should, because I freaking did videos on that episode. I did one with Keyframe. It was actually kind of funny. And I launched the main antagonist off of a catapult at the very end, right over the Canterlot walls with his wing bound. That's right. I have canonically committed murder. Let's see here. Rusty saying this sounds like a lot of fame. Rarity investigates. Thank you very much, Trent. Rusty saying I haven't read anything in the comics yet. Haven't heard about anything with. Paladin Pony T says Fleur-de-Lis was a royal guard, but now she protects Fancy Pants. What the? Okay, we got... Now, I would read this fan fiction, don't get me wrong. But that is 100% fan fiction. Alright, what else we got here? Apple Bloom ascends to an alicorn. Let's see here. It does seem unlikely to happen in the show, but out of every episode that Apple Bloom has been in thus far, I can't help but feel as though she could likely become an alicorn. You know how in Magical Mystery Cure when Celestia mentions that the traits on what makes a true princess? Well, I believe that Apple Bloom also shares those very traits. I mean, look at Bridal Gossip, for example. You see how she and Twilight were the only two ponies that were willing to give Zecora the benefit of the doubt, even to the end of the episode itself. Now, that might mean that there's nothing... that might mean nothing, but here's my question. Why include Apple Bloom in the story? Well, because she's the younger sister of the main six, of a main character. And younger people, as we know, are more impressionable and more open-minded and more willing to investigate something that they're not sure about and form their own opinion on it rather than just jump to a conclusion. Now, here's the thing about younger characters as well is kids will also imitate their role models. So if a kid sees everybody else hating on somebody, and there was actually a psychological study on this, I think was it the 1950s or the 1970s, but there was a psychological study where they showed young kids, a video, a film of clowns getting beaten up by adults. And then they bring in a clown into the classroom, and what do the kids do? They start trying to beat up the clown. And so, yeah, they do imitate. But outside of that, kids are much easier to teach. Now then, moving on. I mean, couldn't Fluttershy have been the choice to also support Zecora being the element of kindness? Well, Fluttershy is, never fully grew out of her cowardice, but season 1 especially, full-on coward. There's no way she would, she was afraid of Zecora because she would come to town wearing a cloak and sometimes dig at the ground. Nope. It had to be Apple Bloom. So why? I could go on and mention other episodes like Crusaders of the Lost Mark, where she shows compassion over her most hated enemy, Diamond Tiara. Plus, she also shows great leadership to the CMC group. Apple Bloom is usually the first one to fly off the handle, and it's usually Sweetie Belle that reins everybody in. Sweetie Belle is the voice of reason more often than any of the other Crusaders. Let's see here. There are other things that I can point out that would make Apple Bloom a potential alicorn, but don't you think it's possible? Okay, so... Goodness, I miss Pony Cordero. I really wish he was still around. Because he had a great outline of what his theory was that made an alicorn. I'm going to try to remember it, but I'm probably not going to do it justice. It was a high understanding of magic, creating a new magic, and representing all of the elements of harmony. And once you reach that sort of nirvana, or that enlightenment, then you can become an alicorn. Apple Bloom is a long way from a good number of those things. Also, there's too many gosh darn alicorns. I will stand by, there never should have been more than the 2 for as long as I live. Now then, let's see what you guys have to say. Taco soup, says Paladin. Okay. I don't believe I've ever tried taco soup. I'm willing to try it. Let's see here. Wasn't that the comic where Fleur-de-Lis fought a changeling? Yes, Rusty, have a cookie. Okay, so that must be in relation to... Was that comic where Fleur-de-Lis fights a changeling? I feel like I've seen it. I can't remember where. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to move on. So, prior to last week's episode. Goodness, when was this posted? October 3rd, 2016. Goodness gracious. We're dealing with 7-year-old posts at this, 8-year-old posts at this point. Okay. I was a bit on the fence on my opinion of Glim Glam. Well, that's how you know this dude's from 4chan. I was neutral at best in regards to her character, and I considered myself in the boat of wish she wasn't reformed. I see Heather's in the chat. She's in the same boat. Her appearances in Season 6 prior were certainly not bad and at times promising, but very few of those moments really left a large impression on me. Every little thing she does changed that. It was here that Starlight showed that she's genuinely struggling, not for lack of wanting to be a better person or feeling like she should go into the old ways, but because she doesn't have experience otherwise. We saw this a little with No Second Prances, but I feel that ELTSD accomplishes what I'm talking about to a much better degree. Starlight is an incredibly gifted spellcaster, rivaling even Twilight's capabilities, and falls back on that power that she's relied upon her whole life whenever she meets a roadblock. Oh geez, I know what that's like. If you know the simplest way to solve a problem, you're gonna use that method, especially if you don't learn how to care about the collateral damage, you're gonna be in for a rough time. Let's see here. In a way, Starlight is having trouble recovering from the position of power that Twilight was afraid of reaching in Ghostbusters and partially delved into during Lesson 0. I agree. That is this type of thing is what I tell the Starlight Glimmer haters out there. All right, I feel like this one's a personal attack. It's a cartoon. It's not meant to be taken that seriously by Algernon. I'll be sure to get you some flowers after I get done roasting you here, Algernon. Let's see here. I've seen people bring up questions of morality and apply them to episodes. Ooh, that is a personal attack. That is. Let's see here. By the way, I'm trying to get an episode of Moral of the Story out. If not tomorrow, then hopefully Monday. We'll start the new year off right with a Brawny Buck video, some actual content, not one of these nonsense BS live streams. Okay, or people attempt to analyze each specific action of the characters and apply some sort of hidden meaning to them. Well, that's what happens when you are part of a fandom. Fandom, by its nature, attracts the autists. Autists do this kind of nonsense. Ask me how I know. As if they're in a college literal class studying Moby Dick. Okay, so, man, I'm not even through the first paragraph, and I've got so much to say here. A lot of people have these thoughts, and a lot of people think about these things regardless of where they come from. Like, if you're a fan, you're probably thinking about these kind of things, especially if the show itself that you're watching leaves it open to interpretation. So, the difference is, do people actually go forth with the effort to put it into writing and put it out into the world for other people to see? And Go Jillian saying, oh boy, it's just a kid's show, don't take it too seriously. I hate that deflection. All right, let's see here. This is, I've also seen people focus on the flaws of an episode while refusing to acknowledge any positive aspects of it. Does anybody remember Biter? Biter was the absolute worst with that kind of thing. He hasn't been around for a long, long time. I haven't seen or heard of him since 2013 or 14 or something like that. But, oh my God, talking to that guy was like beating your head against a brick wall. Let's see here. This is like watching Flash Gordon, but expecting to see 2001: A Space Odyssey. You're only setting yourself up for disappointment if you put up these insanely high standards for each episode, or treat it like it's some artistic masterpiece layered with symbolism or amazingly complex characters and lore. It depends on the episode. It really does, in my opinion. This show was just a cartoon about magical ponies. If that's all it takes for you to enjoy it, that's cool. I like going deeper. I like using my brain. I like giving my brain some exercise. Pardon me for doing so. To tear it apart because it does what almost any humorous animated series does, Relatively simple stories, comedic sociopathy, ignoring physics or logic for the sake of a joke, to me is ridiculous. Make no mistake, there are flaws in the show. Just like any show on TV, the fandom is just taking it far too seriously. Somebody go grab Firebrand for me and tell him I am not giving him his royalties. And I don't think Algernon is going to give him his royalties from 2016 either. Let's see here. All right, so, I mean, you're not entirely wrong, but, and I know that, and I certainly know from firsthand being in the analyst fandom for, you know, over a decade at this point, that some people are like this, but that doesn't mean the depth is not there. That doesn't mean there are not themes that are worth talking about. That doesn't mean that sometimes an episode is just silly. You know, you got to take everything case by case and find the balance. That can be difficult for a lot of people to do. So, I get it. I don't think he's entirely right, but I get it. And what do the comments say here? Let's see here. Trent says, ever since Thespio, probably playfully, called Brony a jerk when he saw my shirt at Everfree Northwest a couple years back, my opinion of him soured. Shoot, I don't know what Thespio thinks about me. He's never called me well, no, he's called me a jerk to my face, but he was joking around when he said that. You know, at least I think he was. If Thespio ever had a legitimate problem with me, he never brought it to me, and I can't really, fix anything about myself that people don't bring to my attention. Paladin Pony T says, I think Firebrand is busy with the twins. I'm sure he is too, but that's beside the point. Let's see here. Why Sunset outshines Starlight? Now, this is interesting. I'm going to preface this one. And I'm going to say, by the way, this one's by Serious Face. Why so serious? But that's also the wrong, like, serious. That's like the consolation. That's like Sirius Snape. Or wait, no. Was it Sirius was the Harry Potter character? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to preface this. Sunset had a heel turn. Redemption. Starlight Glimmer actually worked for it. Sunset got the crap kicked out of her and 180'd and just knew what to do. I think she had the social awareness and the social aptitude to be able to understand herself. And granted, like in Rainbow Rock, she had a bit of self-doubt and had to go through her own little arc. But that's sort of normal. You know, everybody's going to go through that kind of thing after they get the crap kicked out of them once or twice. And that's fine. Starlight Glimmer had a much more realistic redemption, in my opinion. Yeah, so she saw the error of her ways, and she wanted to try something different. You know, and Twilight, you know, brought her into the light. And then sometimes people take a long time to learn things, and you've really got to learn how to be patient with people if you're gonna get anywhere with anybody in real life, because everybody you know is gonna do something that's gonna piss you off eventually. And if you write off everybody that pisses you off the first time they piss you off, you will have no friends and no family before you're very old. You won't make it to middle age without becoming a very lonely person. That doesn't mean you keep people around that are like actively detrimental to your health, in a chronic sense, and that they, you know, and if they refuse to learn. So sometimes people just aren't compatible. That happens too, right? But most of the Starlight Glimmer hate I've seen is, you know, she keeps making the same mistakes and doesn't learn. But as the show went on, those mistakes got less and less over time, and she did, in fact, learn. So, and if you don't give people like that the chance, then they will never learn. And not only will they never learn, you'll never learn how to help people like that. And now the world is a worse place, or at the very least, the same level of crappy that it already is. And you have completely missed an opportunity to help yourself and help another person and better the world around you. My point is, be strong. Now then, let's see why Serious Face thinks none of that matters when comparing Sunset to Starlight. Okay. It can be argued that we are our weakest when we are alone. Don't I know it? Friends and loved ones bring out the best of us. If there is any magic in friendship, it is the willful transformation to become better people for the sake of others. We see this in Sunset Shimmer. While Silverquill has gone into length about her success, I will boil his 10-minute video about her down to a single sentence. Sunset Shimmer's successful redemption. Try saying that 5 times fast. I can't even issue the challenge without tripping over my words. Is the most inspirational story in My Little Pony. Would that the same could be said for Starlight Glimmer. Like Sunset, we meet Starlight as friendless, caring only for power, control, and driven by a selfish agenda she believed would make her happy. Her loss of friendship made her the worst she could be. In the end, she surrendered, and never said that she was sorry for her past actions. Combine that with her lack of representation this season, and differences between these two characters are obvious. Okay, so this was written in 2016. Starlight, we were... I don't even know if we had started Season 7 yet. I know Season 7, I think, started in 2017. So yeah, we had just gotten done with Season 6. And Starlight had not, explicitly said, I'm sorry for my past, but I'd say she showed it in her actions. And that she was trying her best throughout Season 6. Now then, time may change this, but until that happens, Starlight Glimmer comes across as a plot device rather than a developed, relatable character. It will take more than checklists to teach Starlight that what Sunset has already learned. Okay, so here's your thing, Sirius. Sunset had more talent. Starlight took longer to learn. When you wrote this, Season 7 hadn't started yet, where Starlight made some of her biggest progress. She was still at the beginnings of her arc there. So I understand where you're coming from, but you're wrong. And sometimes people take a while to learn things. I mean, we saw the same thing with Fluttershy. Fluttershy, that they always said she always had to learn the same thing over and over again. And my favorite thing to do is point out that not that she learned the same thing over and over again. It's that she had to continuously go through similar struggles that people that share common ground with her characters are likely to go through and learn different aspects of how to overcome similar problems. I had a video, I think in 2015, called Brony Debates Characterization. And I covered Fluttershy's arc in that one, in delivering a better, more well-read version of this opinion. Let's head over to the comments here. Ariel Ballingue, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, welcome to the show. I don't believe I've seen your name in the chat before. Says, I'm looking forward to BabsCon. I might try Anime Expo as my next vacation. Well, Anime Expo, where is that exactly? I don't go to a whole lot of anime conventions. Sometimes I go if I've got friends inviting me and they're local. But I hope you enjoy yourself at BabsCon. BabsCon's not really my scene. Let's see here. Heather Blossom says, she was arrogant and had stupid bangs. Also, remember when she sold off her bestie's mobile home without asking? Yes, I do remember. And that was crappy. That's called a relapse. Relapses suck. Relapse will make you question everything you think you know about a person. She got the crap kicked out of her for it, and rightly so. Now then, a Starbutt pisser is a crappy peep who people were nice to. First, that's the wrong two. TOO means also. That's what it means. It means also. This is my friend, and this is my friend too. I give rather than to TO, which is this is a gift I give to my friend. We learned this in first grade, Heather. Do better. Now then, Paladin Pony T says, too bad we don't have Silver Quill here. I thought to ask him to if he would be at all interested in coming on the show. Next time I do one of these, I'll poke him ahead of time, and I'll try to poke him ahead of time and go, hey, do you wanna react to some old Equestria Daily posts with me? I'm sure he'll find that fun. 0111X says Starlight is an alcoholic who fought to kick the habit. Sunset, like you said, got knocked into the ground and had to rebuild. I don't know. Trent says, I don't know if you saw it, but it's unlike you to not acknowledge a pun in the title of this article. Yes, I did see the pun. I didn't. I just chose to gloss over it this time. All right, that's the end of this one. We're a half hour into the stream, so let's head back over here. That was the very first one. Back in 2016. Can you freaking believe it? We've all been in this fandom for far too long, my friends. Lauren Foss Vision Ruined. CMC Destiny, Changeling Lore, and more. Alright, so this was before we really had any Changeling lore. And this was slightly after the Cutie Mark Crusaders got their Cutie Marks. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Let's see here. Changelings would make the best live entertainers. All right, I'm interested in this one. First of all, let's make sure we have full context here. Do we see a date posted on this thing anywhere? Because things coming from their time make a big deal. Okay. Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. Man, I remember seeing these going, hey, that's silly. I sort of wish they wouldn't do this. By the way, Equestria Daily, on the chance that you're watching this, and I believe your meetup map is broken. Now, granted, Brony meetup groups might not even be a thing anymore. I've tried to revive the local one a few times and have not been successful. But I don't know if you want to keep this banner here. If this, I don't know if you want to keep this banner here if the link is broken. You could be filling that with more ad space. I know Equestria Daily's got to be expensive to run. Let's see here. Changelings would make the best live entertainers. When you start to think about it, it's quite obvious. Ability to sense love, or even how much it's around you, allows you to gauge directly and instantly what the audience is feeling. So for entertainers, be that musician, actor, etc., such skill or ability would be very beneficial. Even though, oh my gosh, I'm going to be real, the spelling's atrocious on this. This guy needed to work on his sentence structure. Yes, I am a grammar Nazi, get over it. Even though changelings haven't yet been shown to stray from the pack until recently, also it's called a hive, I am a grammar Nazi, get over it, we presume that they would not be interested in this. But consider the possibility. You perform and give enjoyment to others, and for that receive nourishment. In this manner, a changeling performing would be able to feel whether or not its performance was well received, and this way also be able to change up things that are not working. eventually making these particular creatures some of, if not the best entertainers. Yes, not every field of entertainment could be gauged directly. Still, most can, and this is what would make a changeling great, unless it can't come up with better material to replace the bad parts. Frankly, I'm surprised that writers never even made a comic, Luna forbid, out of this idea. But I guess here's hoping. If anything, I wonder what Thorax will become now. Okay. I thought this was going to go in a different direction, right? Because of their ability to transform. It's like, hey, we need the pony version of Michael Jackson, but we obviously can't afford to hire actual Michael Jackson. So, we need Songbird Serenade. We need Sapphire Shores. We need Countess Coloratura, right? But we don't have. However, what if we got a changeling to do it? Now, we know that changelings can imitate voice. So, would that work for a singer? Is a changeling... a changeling can match Songbird Serenade speaking voice for certain, but as soon as they need to hit a vibrato, what's going to happen? Or, if they don't know how to get those high notes or those low notes or how to transition, that's gonna cause all kinds of problems. So if you're talking about theater or film, you could get a changeling to look like anybody. You save an awful lot of money in the makeup department. There we go. Rusty Harold, he says, yes, I'm a grammar Nazi. Get over it. Should be on a t-shirt. Maybe I will. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Let's see here. Okay, so in the Discord server, we've got Trent who says, has Starlight's power versus Twilight's ever been discussed in the show? I think we can talk about that for a minute. So Trent, you are welcome to join the call at your leisure if your microphone is set up. So all you got to do is click the on-air voice channel. You should be able to see it now. Until then, let's talk about, is Lauren Foss' vision ruined? Hang on just a second. Gonna make things... There we go. Ever since Lauren Foss left, the current showrunners have made many changes to her original plans. I wonder which ones. I would have liked some examples here. Hey, Trent, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Brony?
I'm doing good. It's great to hear from you again. So, you wanted to talk about let me take a look here. Has Starlight's Starlight's power versus Twilight's power, has it ever been discussed in the show? I don't believe it has. What would you like to say about it?
It's basically what I've seen from videos like yours, Brony, where I've seen basically that Starlight has, like the fight that Starlight had with Twilight in that one episode at the castle, like teleportation, multiple locations, that kind of thing. Yeah. They seem pretty well matched.
Right, so they're definitely able to perform spells on the same level. They've got similar levels of knowledge. I don't know that Twilight ever fought seriously. So this is getting into real headcanon territory, but it is generally canonical in the show that alicorns are way the heck more powerful than any other thing. So Starlight being able to match Twilight could be one of a few things. Maybe it is an even match. Maybe Twilight, especially being a young alicorn, hasn't had time to develop that full celestial body power that we see in like Celestia and Luna, but also we got to keep in mind that Celestia got her butt kicked by Chrysalis. So the power scaling might not have as many gaps as we think. It could be a skill issue that Twilight isn't really a fighter. If people who have competed in combat sports know that there's just something different. Oftentimes, at least a little bit, if not full-on psychopathic, about being able to get in a fight with another person and really hurt them. Because people who don't have, any level of psychopathic tendencies in their brains, they're going to have a limiter that, maybe I can throw this punch, but to throw it in a way that's going to hurt another person, a lot of people can't do that. So Twilight might have been subconsciously holding back, or maybe she was consciously holding back because she didn't want to hurt Starlight. And maybe Starlight is good enough to match with an alicorn because, maybe the magic is based off not just necessarily your talent, because she, like Twilight, was her special talent was magic and therefore had more magic to deal with. Who knows? And the show never really explicitly stated when they were dueling in Cutie Remark and when they were exercising in season 6 and season 7, they were evenly matched. But that in itself does bring up some questions. So what do you think about all that?
I think I agree with you. They seem pretty evenly matched.
Mm-hmm. Anything to add?
Yeah. Not really.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too.
Let's see here. All right. So, thank you, Trent, for calling in. Let's continue down the thing here. Okay. So, let's look at all the interviews and whatnot that Lauren Faust has done. What is the main idea she intended for this show and all the other stuff that she has worked on? It wasn't that there's only 2 alicorns or that Twilight's library is still standing or anything like that. The idea beyond her work is that the girls are just as diverse in personality as boys are, and are good at almost all of the things that boys are good at. That is the philosophy of the show that the show has followed from day one, and the philosophy it is continuing to follow currently. Yes, I agree with this. And we have seen, that Lauren Faust interviewed. She wanted Twilight to become Celestia's successor. She probably would have handled it a bit differently. She said in other areas, like in posts that she's made on her DeviantArt, given a general idea of the direction she would have taken each of these characters. But she said she wanted Rarity to get her boutique in Canterlot. That happened. She wanted Rainbow Dash to become a Wonderbolt. That happened. I don't remember I don't even think she said anything for Pinky and Fluttershy. But I would say that for the most part, we did stick to the original thing. And after a while, and Megan McCarthy took over, I think Megan McCarthy did an amazing job of keeping track of these things. And we also had, what was his name? Jason Thiessen did a really good job. Jim Miller did a really good job. Was it Dan Yu? There was an Asian gentleman who was running the show as well and putting all these things together. Regardless, Friendship is Magic is one of the best shows to ever run. Now then, let's see here. Ponytubers deserve more respect from older bronies. Before we get into that, let's see what the chat has to say. Paladin Pony T says, question, have you ever noticed that changelings can't copy the clothing of the pony they turn into? Well, I haven't noticed. I haven't ever seen a changeling turn into somebody that was already wearing clothes. Who's to say that they can't? Have you ever seen the X-Men movies? Mystique canonically, just walks around naked all the time. And when she shapeshifts into the clothes of whoever she's shapeshifting into. Now then, let's see here. Rusty says, I personally consider Starlight is equal to Twilight in power, and my personal headcanon that Alicorn power level is exaggerated if you debate on that. I don't know. I think anything I could debate on would just be headcanon. Now let's see here. Oh yeah, she also wanted the CMC to get their cutie marks, and that happened too. Thank you, Gajillion. Harriman says they thought the series was ending with season 3 or 4 when Twilight became a princess, didn't they? Yes, they did, actually. Mitch Larson has explicitly stated that he thought the show was over at the end of Magical Mystery Cure. And so he wrote a series finale. And then they just decided for more. So that would have been a horrible place to end this series, right? End of a 3rd season shark jump after 12 episodes, building up to the Equestria Games, where could you imagine if the Equestria Games never happened after half a season of build-up? And then they got another half a season of build-up in season 4. That would have been and then Equestria Girls. It's like, okay, series is over. Here's some Equestria Girls. Go home, everybody. None of us would be here right now. That would have been the end of it. Don't blame Larson either. Larson wanted to do a good job. Larson was not allowed to do a good job by his bosses. All right. Ponytubers deserve more respect from the older bronies. I don't know who the Ponytubers are. And maybe do they even deserve respect? That's also the question to be asking here. I count as an older brony. I started making videos in 2012. I've been with the fandom since 2010. I'm an old brony. Some of these new guys, like if we're just talking about new people making content, you've got people like Quantum Hippologist. Let me tab over to my subscriptions real quick. But Quantum Hippologist is one of the first people to come to mind here. Let's see here. Mad Munchkin and Golden Fox have been active recently, but they definitely qualify as old guard. There's Small Owl, Banquo, very good people. Gator Goat Johnny, highly recommend. Let's see here. Starstrike is amazing. I love his videos. Let's see here. Who else? I'm just scrolling through my subscriptions, and most of my subscriptions are musicians. So it takes a little bit of time here. Goodness, I'm still subscribed to the Looney Turtle. He hasn't made anything in a long time. Alrighty then. Okay, so, yeah. If you're not already familiar with some of those names I just mentioned, go subscribe to them right now. They make some amazing videos. And I know that there's more out there that I'm just like not subscribed to, because I watched a couple of their videos, and a couple of their videos were good, and then I went through their backlog and I didn't really see anything else I was interested in. That is totally subjective, though. All right. I have come to notice something that has been getting on my nerves. One of the most popular types of pony videos on YouTube are where someone is filming their plastic toy ponies and making stories and videos out of that. Okay, so stop motion? Stop motion takes a lot of effort, and you got to be good at what you do in order to do good stop motion. So this is new to me. I wish I'd known about this. I would have done a video on it. People who do that are called ponytubers. Okay, that's the definition of a ponytuber. Wow, I should really actually read past the headline before I start making commentary. I just made a fool out of myself, my friends. Please forgive me. They are especially popular with younger My Little Pony fans, as they would be. That type of thing does attract kids. There are some really popular pony tubers out there, a couple with over 200,000 subscribers. However, even though these are popular, I barely ever see them mentioned or even recognized throughout the older Brony community. While pony animations and even compilation videos are put all over the place on Equestria Daily, I have only seen one video that is related to pony tubers. It was one of MLP's stop motions videos, not one of her best, where she made a pony reenactment of Big Hero 6, and it got a lot of backlash in the EQD comment section. I guess I am just getting annoyed at older fans just ignoring videos made by pony tubers, and whenever they are recognized, there is a lot of backlash. Some people were calling for MLP stop motion. We're calling MLP stop motion a spoiled brat in the EQD. Oh my God, why would you do that? Pony tubers deserve more respect. Okay, I have a new rabbit hole that I need to go down. I need to, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not even really that interested in this type of content. Just from a purely subjective standpoint, it's just not something I would have thought to look at. But now I am curious, because I know that stop motion takes a lot of time and that is possibly the most difficult version of animation. Because there is no way to do it digitally, at least as far as I know. You've got to get creative with your models, and you've got to get creative with your cinematography. So it could be bad, maybe it is, or maybe there's a totally untapped well of really good content out here that we got to. So if anybody out there, all 15 of you listening, have any background on pony tubers, please let me know where I should look. Make some recommendations to me so I can check that out. But yeah, I can totally agree with what's this person? Pinky 102368. I'm just gonna call you Pinky for short. And if that's your OC, Pinky, I love that design. All the way back in 2016. Anyway, content creation of any kind takes a lot of effort, especially if you're doing it well. There is no easy content creation out there. So if it's not your thing, that's fine. If you're just not interested, that's fine. But do not, for the love of God, bully or talk down to other content creators just because it doesn't vibe with you specifically on a subjective level. There's no reason for that. You couldn't do what they do. And especially if someone is good at telling a story, that's another level of skill entirely. Animation requires the knowledge of cinematography, pacing, storytelling, voice acting. Now, I will give it this. The Brony fandom does not have a lot of very good voice actors. I'm going to say that with a totally straight face. We do not have a lot of very good voice actors. Even the more popular ones just hurt my ears, if I'm being totally honest. So the advent of AI-generated voices for the characters has been a blessing, in my opinion, to the Brony fandom. So we can definitely use those for pony tubing. Now, if you've got constructive criticism for another content creator, by all means, that type of thing can be given, right? Say, hey, your delivery here could have been a little bit better, right? Like you didn't, if you can, especially if you can actually give constructive criticism, or maybe it's a microphone issue. Your gain is up too high. Your environment is too echoey, things like that. Help people improve. Don't frickin' bully people. The heck is wrong with you? I realize that nobody who falls into this is ever going to hear what I'm saying here, but I'm just going to throw it out to the universe and say, what the heck is wrong with you? Let's see what the chat says. Okay. Gajillion says, I'm a proud brony since 2012. Rusty says, I can't imagine the show without the latter half of the series. Harriman says, maybe they mean Gen 1, 2, and 3 MLP fans. Okay, so we gotten past that. Ace Cabot says, just wanted to discuss the thought of a possible MLP alternate universe where Sombra timeline is Wolfenstein. Okay, that's interesting. Hang on just a second. I saw that there was a message in the Discord server with a raise hand emoji. I don't know if Ace Cabot is the person that sent that, but let me just make sure of that, and we might have another person calling in here. Okay, Cami KC, I haven't seen your name in the chat before. Welcome to the show. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Says, Brony, who are the G5 Make Your Mark and Tell Your Tale directors? I did some basic research, and apparently changes were made, and I cannot find any names. Greetings from Argentina. Thank you for tuning in from Argentina. Goodness gracious, I didn't know I reached that far. I don't know anything about G5. I've watched a little bit of it. I don't know who directed it. I don't know who's directing it. I don't know who's at the helm. I'm interested, but it also kind of doesn't matter. Whoever it is, I don't think is doing a very good job. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, so... Okay, so yes, that was you. Let's see. I'm going to go by your YouTube name because that's what you are in the chat there. Ace Cabot, you are welcome on the show as soon as you get this message. Just go ahead and click the on air and we can talk about your Sombra alternate universe. I look forward to hearing this. Oh goodness, I had the thumbnail up the whole time. I forgot to change over. I'm sorry about that, guys. It must have been a little bit boring to look at. Let's see here. In the meanwhile, let me just message our friend here. Okay. And while we wait for Ace Cabot, let's see what else we've got. Fallout Equestria Canonical Series. Absolutely not. Okay, so, Ace Cabot, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So, yeah, I remember when I saw the episode where Starlight had found Star Swirl's time traveling scroll, and they were traveling through like different timelines.
Cutie remark. Season 5 finale. Yep.
Yeah. And I remember seeing the scene where Sombra wasn't defeated. I'm like, wow, that's kind of an interesting take. And then later on down the line, I saw fan fiction on fanfiction.net discussing the idea of Sombra like taking over the Crystal Empire, but it's like his version of like Wolfenstein. I'm like, whoa, that was kind of a cool idea, I thought.
So what is the premise of Wolfenstein? I'm actually not familiar. I know it's a video game.
So Wolfenstein is a video game based during the Second World War, but the idea is that the Nazis won.
Okay.
And they have like Jewish based advanced technology, like their dogs are like robot dogs, and they're huge. Like they're huge mechanical dogs.
Okay.
And they have like battle armor and all kinds of stuff, and it's just nuts. And you play this one guy named B.J. Blazkowicz, and he's like a Jewish American, and he goes around killing Nazis.
Okay, so how does this? Yeah, how does this play into your idea?
Well, basically, it's like if Sombra was like Hitler,
Well, he kind of was.
and then either Twilight or and then Twilight or Rainbow Dash with like BJ Blazkowicz, and they go around and they gather a bunch of supporters that are against like the regime of the Neo Crystal Empire, I guess I could call it, for like Sombra, and they try to bring back the world like it should be.
Okay. There have been plenty of fan fictions that follow a similar premise. I haven't read any good ones yet, but if one is shown to me, I will definitely read it. So
yeah, I'll have to see if I can find them.
Yeah, I mean, any premise for a story can be good. It all depends on the execution, and we've said that a million times on this show throughout the years. But thanks for coming on and sharing your idea with me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, have a wonderful night.
You too.
That was the wrong button. I'm still getting used to this kind of thing. I wish I could have it set up like an actual call station where it's all just a button that can patch someone through. It would actually be easier if I actually had like a phone number. Like, what if there was a phone number that people could just call in? That sounds like it would be easier to run, harder to set up, maybe even harder to manage. I'm going to get some, crazy psychopath just coming in here and causing all kinds of trouble on my phone. I'd have to have a way to screen them like ahead of time, like an actual radio station. Now then, let's see what we've got here. Fallout Equestria canonical series. Recently, it has been brought to my attention that Fallout Equestria is a parody of a canonical series. We may have seen Starlight Glimmer has the ability to travel through time and therefore create infinite alternate universes. Okay, that is not how time travel worked in Friendship is Magic. It actually worked properly, which is to say linearly. All right, go watch It's About Time again, Season 2. We've seen at least one of which that leads to the destruction of Equestria itself, meaning that there are circumstances where there is no hope for the land and that it can be a wasteland-like state. Given the fact that there are thousands of alternate realities, this is very much a chance that Fallout Equestria takes place. I mean, we do have alternate universes, like Equestria Girls and things like that. They tackled it in the comics in the Reflections arc, and we saw Celestia go and Starswirl the Bearded go to a universe where Fluttershy was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was a yellow Tyrannosaurus Rex with Fluttershy's cutie mark. I almost died. So, but no, that is, we're not dealing with alternate timelines in Friendship is Magic. We are dealing with alternate universes. We're not dealing with alternate timelines. If you go back in time, it directly shows up in the present. The only reason why those timelines got overwritten is because Twilight and Starlight went back in time and then stopped anything from getting altered. So none of it ever happened, if you get right down to it. What does the chat say? Let's see here. Rusty says, haven't actually watched these, but not so sure if this is actually PonyTuber, but I see some of Flutterpaw's older videos look like the PonyTuber that you're looking. Okay, good to know. Let's see here. Corey Williams, another name I haven't seen before. Welcome to the show. Apparently there's a friend of mine who keeps saying that the furry fandom is a part of the community of ponies. I keep telling them they're not. Okay. I'm going to put a moratorium on this right now. Not all bronies are furries. Some furries are also bronies. Brony is not furry. Fight me. Let's see here. Okay, what is the destiny of the CMC? Is this the bottom of it? Yeah, this is the bottom of it. So we're gonna wrap this one up and then say goodnight for the stream here. The Monday entry that suggested that Apple Bloom could have been an alicorn made me think, hey, we just talked about that earlier. Could there be some higher destiny for the Crusaders as a whole? The way they got their cutie marks is very unusual after all. As far as we know in the show, there's only 2 examples of shared cutie marks. We've seen ponies get their cutie marks in the show, and while it's typically a personal epiphany or great feat that brings it on, the mark usually just appears on their flank. But the cutie mark Crusaders practically got a transformation sequence, magic coursing through their bodies, and 3 rising into the air and glowing brightly. I do gotta wonder if that's just a dramatic effect, but we saw it with the main 6 when they all got their cutie marks at the same time and were sort of bound together. It was a very intense sort of thing for all of them. Not to mention that that the 3 basically share 3 variants of the same mark. The last time a group of ponies got cutie marks connected to each other, they ended up becoming the elements of harmony. At this point, yeah, Season 6 had wrapped up, so we definitely know that from Season 5. That combined with the unusual way that they earn their cutie mark seems to be a hint that the Crusaders have a great discovery waiting for them like the main 6 did. I don't know if the show intends to look into it much. Well, hindsight is 20/20. They didn't. They grew up and were normal, but helped people. And that's fine. That is the destiny of most people. Grow up, live a normal life, get a job, get a family, help people. Leave the world in a better place you found it. And I think that's a wonderful spot to end for tonight. So thank you to everyone who came on the show tonight. And talked with me and told me your ideas. I love hearing them, and I hope we can do some more of that in the future. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. I saw a good few new names tonight, so hopefully I have earned your continued viewership. If you would like to get on the show outside of just calling in for a minute, I'd love to have you. We'll just get you on the Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You get all kinds of perks in return. And we are very grateful to everybody who supports the show, especially on the $10 and up tier, such as Heather, Shady, Sid, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rein-Kun, QFlash, Billy, Alden, Easy Mode, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willie Zinn, Icanis, Vulpecula, The Raptors Talon, and Dark Malcontent, executive producer of Titan Art Studios. Be sure to check out all of their links in the description, as well as what you get in return for supporting this channel. I will be hanging out with Princess Heather Blossom in a little under an hour on her channel. She's playing Pokemon, so go tune in with that. And be sure to have a happy new year. I am not 100% certain if I'll keep doing live streams in the next year, but we'll see what happens, right? We're gonna try to do better. And I hope you will join me for the journey. With that all said, once again, have a happy new year. Stay safe, everybody. God bless you, and have a wonderful night.